From the Song of Songs, the voice of my beloved comes. Let's sing together. Together, juntitos una vez más, por favor. Shabbat Shalom Umevorach Shabbat Shalom Umevorach Shabbat Shalom Umevorach. Shabbat Shalom to everybody, wherever you are. So I invite you to be present and to sit in a way that is comfortable, awake. I invite you to sit with this posture of relaxation and alertness at the same time. To pay attention to our breath, neshima, neshama, the breathing and the soul that are so connected. I invite you to do a visualization with me in this air that during COVID has become so relevant. We're so connected by the air, by the droplets. There are no walls that separate us. And we realize the blessing of being able to breathe and the complexity of breathing with each other. So invite us in this Shabbat Kodesh, in this holy Shabbat, to take a deep breath, feeling the blessing of being able to breathe, and send oxygen, air, to any part of your body that you feel is in a little bit of need of some massage. If you feel that the shoulders are tense, maybe the jaw, maybe the front, the back of your head, the legs, imagine that you could have this oxygen coming inside of you and going through your body and going straight to that area that needs some love, that needs some relaxation, some massaging, some letting go of tightness, letting go of some anxiety maybe. So visualize the air going straight but slowly to that area of your body, sending love, sending Shabbat energy to that area of your body. And if thoughts come in, you notice these thoughts, and you say, I see you, but not now. Thank you for coming. We don't resist the thoughts. We notice them. But we say, in this moment, I'm massaging my body. So, not now. So I invite you to breathe this Shabbat Kodesh energy of love, of presence, of purpose, of relaxation, of awareness, of spiritual wakefulness into that part of your body that needs some love, needs some caring, some massaging. And feel this oxygen going straight and slowly to that area of your body, and feeling that muscle of whatever that part of your body is beginning to relax, beginning to feel the Shabbat energy of rest, of contemplation and awareness. And imagine that the air that you're breathing and the muscle that you're feeding, they meet with a smile, saying to each other, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom, my dear. I know that you're tense. I know that you are in need of some Shabbat energy of peace. Here I am for you. Imagine that this encounter between oxygen and a place on your body that needs to be relaxed happens in the warmth of an embrace and the melting of attention. And a nigun is sung to that muscle, a wordless melody, and the tension is released to enter into this Shabbat Neshama Yetera, additional soul experience. but will be present, relaxed, and awake. Feel the oxygen, the neshima. Sientan el oxígeno, la respiración. Breathing into the body, which is the vessel of the soul. El cuerpo, que es la vasija donde el alma reside. And we breathe, and we bring Shabbat energy. We relax, and we feel awake. And in that place of wakefulness and embrace, the voice of the soul, the called Mamadaka, the still small voice of the soul, sings to our tense body, to our anxiety, to our fear. The voice of Shabbat, of presence. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat, Shalom. Shabbat, Shalom. Umevorach. This lullaby to the soul. Lullaby to the soul. And I see people again from different parts. I see somebody from Montreal, from Chicago, from New York, from Chile, from Germany. Welcome everybody. From Philly. Welcome everybody. In this Cyber Chavura. This Cyber Chavura. In this moment of presence of Shabbat, I'm going to show you my drink for today. Very special drink. I don't know if you have your tea. Look what I'm having. Mate. Do you know mate? Very special Argentinian drink. Like basically it's herbal tea. We are in this Shabbat Kodesh. Estamos en este Shabbat especial para Parashat Vaikra. Parashat Vaikra. This is the section of the Torah, Vaikra, the third book of the Torah that starts today. Estamos en el tercer libro de la Torah que empieza, Vaikra. Very difficult text for the bar mitzvah kids. All about sacrifices, animal sacrifices. Oh, but there's so much depth. So much power there. So we're going to have this Shabbat energy and to try to dwell a little bit, just a little bit, on the spirit of this section of the Torah, para sumergirnos un poquito en este espíritu de Parashat Vaikra. So we started the Shabbat with breathing, with melody, with the voice of Shir HaShirim, the Song of Songs. Let's continue with gratitude. Continuamos con gratitud. Modeh ani lefaneja for men, moda ani lefaneja for women. מודה אני לפניך, מלך חי וקיים, שחזרת בי נשמתי וחבלה, רב אמונתך. So we're so grateful for returning the life to us, for showing up another day. And we know with COVID is when we are dealing with our fragility, it's so important to be grateful. So connect with your gratitude. What are you grateful for today? What are you grateful for? That you have an opportunity to show up in the world. From what place? What are you grateful for? Just go to the place of gratitude. Los invito a ir a ese lugar de gratitud y pensar en estos momentos qué es por lo cual tenemos agradecimiento. ¿Qué es por lo cual tenemos agradecimiento? Just pay attention to your gratitude. Don't judge it. Don't create a story. Just connect with your gratitude. Just connect with your gratitude. Conectarse con la gratitud. And from that place, whatever that is, and if you know what you're grateful for, and it's something big, choose something even smaller. Really small. Y si ya sabemos por lo que estamos agradecidos, elijamos algo inclusive más pequeño. Simple. Very simple. Like the capacity to breathe or to walk or to see or to touch. I don't know. To connect with somebody. Even if it's through a message or a phone call. Whatever it is, small. What is it that we're grateful for in this moment? ¿Por qué es lo que estamos agradecidos en estos momentos? And from there we pray. מודה אני לפניך, מודה אני לפניך. Pray with me. מודה אני לפניך. מודה אני לפניך. מודה אני לפניך. לפניך, מודה אני לפניך, מודה אני לפניך, מודה אני Lefanecha. It is so wonderful. It is so wonderful, so wonderful to be connected with gratitude. Gratitude expands the soul. Gratitude takes us away from the broken record of our own narcissism. Es tan hermoso estar conectados con la gratitud y nos saca de la telenovela de nuestro narcisismo. What is it that we are grateful for? And to touch the small things in life that are a gift to us. Y conectarnos con las pequeñas cosas que son un regalo para el alma. And COVID has become such a magnifying glass to pay attention to things that we took for granted. So it becomes an opportunity that we didn't look for, to pay attention to the small things that make life meaningful. Tenemos la oportunidad a través de lo que está pasando de mirar aquello que tomamos por sentado y no le prestamos atención. Like the capacity to breathe, like the opportunity to be with each other, or to have health, or to walk and to hug. Oh my God, they are so incredible gifts. So what is it that we are grateful for in this moment? Maybe people who got vaccinated already and can begin to relax a little bit, just a little bit. What is it that we are grateful for? ¿Qué es aquello por lo cual estamos agradecidos en estos momentos? מודה מודה אני לפניך, thank you. Thank you, thank you, even for the capacity to be grateful, for the humility to be grateful, por la capacidad de estar agradecidos y la humildad de tener gratitud. In the gratitude, there is light. En la gratitud hay luz. And that light connects with the source of light. Y esa luz se conecta con la fuente de la luz. Ki imcha mekor chaim beorcha nireor. Ki imcha mekor chaim beorcha nireor, says the prayer. With you is the fountain of life. In your light we see light. The capacity to see light at the end of the tunnel. La capacidad de mirar la luz. That there is meaning beyond absurdity. As Rabbi Herschel used to say, even if we cannot see it, to have the hope that there is meaning beyond absurdity. To imagine that there is a light at the end of the tunnel and it's not a train that is coming towards us. There is hope. So let's connect with the source of life, and the source of life that we all have. In the mystical tradition, it's called Nitzot Hashem, spark of the divine. that lives inside all of us and in the universe. And in Shabbat we fine-tune. In Shabbat, in Shabbat, in Shabbat, we fine-tune with the source of life and the source of light. En Shabbat sintonizamos con la fuerza de la vida y la luz. So let's connect with the source of life and light that it lives inside of us. Ki imcha מקור חיים באורך נראה אור. En ti está la fuente de la vida, en tu luz vemos la luz. With you is the fountain of life. In your light we see light. Chant with me. Let's chant with each other. Let's send the people who are in Montreal, send to the people who are in Toronto, to the people who are in Chicago, to the people who are in Santiago, to the people who are in Lima, Peru, to the people who are in Spain, in Germany. Let's sing, send the light. Mandémonos la luz that travels through cyberspace, because we are all interconnected. כי עמך מקור חיים, כי עמך מקור חיים, כי עמך מקור חיים, באורך נראה אור. כי עמך מקור חיים, כי עמך מקור חיים, כי עמך מקור חיים, באורך נראה אור. Together, I want to hear you. כי עמך מקור חיים, כי עמך מקור חיים, כי עמך מקור חיים, באורך נראה אור. With you is the fountain of life. With you is the fountain of life. With you is the fountain of life. In your light we see light. Contigo está la fuente de la vida. Contigo está la fuente de la vida. Contigo está la fuente de la vida. En tu luz vemos la luz. כי עמך מקור חיים, כי עמך מקור חיים, כי עמך מקור חיים, באורך נראה אור. A little bit more of Mate, L'chaim. I love to bring a little bit of Torah. We have a meditation moment here. We have a breathing moment. We have a prayer moment, part of the liturgy of Shabbat, and we have a Torah moment later. But even during the prayer moment, I like to bring a piece of Torah, as part of the prayer. Me gusta traer un pedacito de la parashá, de la Torah, como parte del prayer. Parashat Vayikra, the third book of the Torah starts and says, Vayikra el Moshe. Vayikra el Moshe. That's the beginning, the first words. Vayikra el Moshe. And the Vayikra that ends with Aleph, the word Aleph, the letter Aleph, is written very, very small. Very small. Vayikra el Moshe. And Moses was called by God. That's the beginning. And I just want to say thank you to those of you who participated. You know, I'm doing a Connecting Through Torah workshop every Thursday. And we had a beautiful conversation about this section of the Torah the other day, and I was, through the magic of these different chat rooms, I was able to listen to different conversations about this. So beautiful. And by the way, it's open to anybody. At the end, Karina will put the link. If you want to be part of it, please join. So, Vayikra el Moshe. So this is the calling that we had. The book of Exodus have ended with the liberation. We have the giving of the Torah, the Ten Commandments, and now the book of Vayikra, that is all about the sacrifices brought to the temple, to be brought to the temple. Todos los sacrificios. It's a lot of blood, there's a lot of things here. And the bar mitzvah, bat mitzvah kids say, oh, what am I going to do with this? It's much better for my bar bat mitzvah to have Bereshit, the Noach story, the creation, whatever. There's so much depth here. There's so much depth. We're going to talk about it in a moment. Vayikra el Moshe, and Moses was called. And I want you to connect in this moment to the calling. When have you felt called to some higher purpose? And I'm not talking big stuff like you have to save humanity or something like that. But a call that came from your higher spiritual self that we can call God, if you want. What your personal Torah would say if instead of saying Vayikra el Moshe, you would put your name there. Vayikra el Nancy, Vayikra el Stephanie, Miriam, Scott, Bob, Marcelo, Karina. Because that's the point. When are we being called? How do we respond? Do we know when we have a calling that sometimes comes in the most unexpected form? Something that calls us to get out of our own routine and to step up to some higher purpose. And we even question, what am I doing? What am I complaining about? What is all this about? How did I get here even? So let's connect with the possibility of being called. with the vocation of being called. Conectémonos con la vocación de ser llamados, de ser elevados. With the vocation of being summoned. Con la vocación de ser, okay, now I need the Chileans, Argentinians. How do you say summoned in Spanish? Because it's deep call. I've been summoned. I don't know how to say it in Spanish. Alistado creo que es. ¿Ah? Convocado. Yes. Thank you, Karina. Convocado. Convocado. The vocation of being summoned. La vocación citados. But being, you are, because when we are summoned to something higher, it means that we count. That our opinions count. That we matter. You matter, so I'm calling upon you. Moses was summoned. Vaikra el Moshe. So let's connect with the vocation to be called. When have we been called in our lives? When we have the courage to listen to a calling. Cuando hemos tenido el coraje de escuchar un llamado, una convocación. A calling that came from a place of mystery, of wonder, of elevation, of purpose. Una convocación que vino de un lugar de espiritual, elevado, de llamado, de sentido, de propósito. Let's connect with that vocation of being open to be summoned. The Moshe in us, the Miriam in us, the prophet, the prophetess in us that can respond to a calling. But first to the vocation of being open to be called. Pero primero la vocación a ser llamado. So let's chant these first words of the Torah of this parsha. Paying attention to this vocation of putting ourselves in the possibility of being called. Let's chant, cantemos estas primeras palabras de la parashá, de la sección de la Torah, como la vocación a ponernos en el lugar donde existe la posibilidad de ser llamados. When we open the channels to the possibility of being called. Vaikra el Moshe, Vaikra el Moshe, Vaikra el Moshe, Vaikra el Moshe. And let's remove for a moment the word Moshe and let's put our own names. What happens when we put our names with the possibility of being called, being elevated, being invited? ¿Qué pasa cuando ponemos nuestro nombre ahí con la posibilidad y la capacidad de ser llamados to something with higher purpose? To get out sometimes of our own story of resentments, of pittiness, all human feelings that we have and being called to a higher purpose. So let's put our names. So I'm going to be in silence so I don't put my name there because you're listening to me. You please add your name. Ya 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 ra, ya ya ra ra ra, ya 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 ra ra, ya ya ra ra ra, Vayikra el ya ra ra, Vayikra el ya ra ra. Put your name. Vayikra el yarara, Vayikra el yarara, Vayikra el yarara, Vayikra el yarara. Vayikra el yararai Vayikra el yararai Vayikra el yararai Vayikra el yararai Yairai, yai, yarara, yairai, yarairai, yarara, yarara, yai, yarara, yarara, yairai, yarara. Yarara, yaira, yaira, to be called. Wow. To be seen. Wow. To be heard. Wow. Ser visto. Ser escuchado. Ser llamado. And to have the courage to pay attention. Y tener el coraje de prestar atención. And usually this is about small things. There are big things. Big things. Because all the big things start small. Porque todas las cosas grandes empiezan pequeñas. And so much is connected with the voice. The psalm that we pray is part of the liturgy. It says, Mi aish chafetz chaim. Notzer leshon chamera, usfatecha vidaber mirma. Sur merav asetov vakeshalom, berotfeu. Who is the human being who is eager for life, who desires years of good fortune? You know who that person is? The person that God, his or her tongue from evil, the lips from deceitful speech. Shun evil and do good. Seek amity and pursue it. So we are open, according to the psalm, to receive this opening. To receive this opening by watching our mouth, by watching our speech, Mirando lo que decimos, the prayer says, we open ourselves to the possibility of being called. So let's chant to the incredible invitation to watch our speech. Let's pray recémosle a la invitación de ser llamados mirando como hablamos. Not to do lashon hara, evil, gossip, and to do good. Sounds so easy. No andar copucheando, no andar chismoseando, and doing good. Mi ya'ish echafetz chayim ohev yamim lirotov netzor leshoncha mera ושפתך מדבר מרמה סור מרע ועשה טוב בקש שלום ורודפהו נצור לשונך מרע ושפתך מדבר מרמה סור מרע ועשה טוב בקש שלום ורודפהו נצור לשונך מרע ושפתך מדבר מרמה סור מרע ועשה טוב בקש שלום ורודפהו. Who is the person who is eager for life, whose desires yearns for good fortune? Who is that person who yearns for long life? The one who guards his or her tongue from evil speech and deceitful speech, the one who runs away from doing evil and seek peace and pursues it. Sounds like a formula. There's a question. Who is that human being? Simple, very simple, so simple. The one who doesn't engage with evil talk, the one who runs away from evil, the ones who do good, the ones who seek peace, the one who pursues peace. That's the Jewish formula. Simple. So why, if it's so simple, it's so difficult? ¿Por qué si es tan simple es tan difícil? What is the seduction that evil speech has in us? ¿Cuál es la seducción que el hablar mal tiene en nosotros? Do you understand that gossip is an incredible industry, all these magazines, all these things? All these conspiracy theories? What is that? Just engaging with evil talk. Engaging with fear, with destruction, with putting doubts What are all these magazines talking about these people and finding dirt? But really looking for dirt. Not necessarily dirt that is there. When there's dirt, there is dirt, but when there's no dirt. So there's an industry of evil speech. Why? Because we have a seduction for it. ¿Por qué? Porque tenemos una seducción, an attraction. Makes us, some tickling. And the text and the healing says very simple. What is to be a Jew? To pay attention to our speech, to run away from evil, from deceit, to do good, to seek peace, and to pursue it. That's the Jewish formula. As in the prayers. It's in the prayer. So let's sing for strength. The strength of looking at the inner life. Ozi vezimra diava ili lishua. The strength that is needed to really pay attention to the inner life. To see that we have this ocean of meaning, of purpose that connects us with each other, with humanity and the universe. And this is from the Song of the Sea, in the book of Shmot, Exodus, where the Israelites crossed the ocean towards the promised land, and they began to sing this incredible song of freedom, liberation, hope. And this is a sacred phrase. God is my strength and my defense. God has become my salvation. So I think it's there, just checking. Yes, it's there. Yes. So look at your strength, but not any strength. Look at the strength not to engage. What helps you not to engage in gossip? What helps you not to engage in destruction? What helps you not to engage and to refrain from the seduction to things that are negative? What helps you to derail in that moment and not to engage? ¿Qué nos ayuda? ¿Qué es lo que nos da fuerza para no meternos en esa rueda destructora? Do you understand the moment? Imagine that you're ready to engage in negative thought, negative speech. We all do it. Through innuendos, through putting doubts, through forwarding a text message, forwarding an email. I'm not saying this, somebody else says it, which we are spreading it. What helps us not to do that? Because sometimes we do it for the sake of feeling that we are relevant. And we don't realize what is it that we're spreading. What gives us the strength not to engage in that? Just pay attention to that. And if you have an idea what gives you strength not to engage in an invitation to negativity, negative speech, if you want to share it, share it. And we chant together. Ozi vezimradia ili lishua Ozi vezimradia Lishua Ozi Vezimradia Vayehi Lishua Ozi Vezimradia Vayehi Lishua Ozi Vezimradia Jerry says, feeling center and knowing one's own value. Thank you, Jerry. Just pay attention. What helps you not to engage with the dark side of gossip or negativity or whatever else you could be spreading? Because we all do it. Oh, releasing the ego, Shulamit says. Vezim radia. Vayehi Lishua, que nos ayuda a no participar en la negatividad y en largar gossip, ¿cómo se dice gossip? Se me van las palabras en castellano. Chismes, mentiras, negatividad. ¿Qué es lo que nos frena de la tremenda seducción? Estar conscientes de que al bajar dejamos de subir. Beautiful. To be conscious that when we go down, we stop going up. Good one. Lishua Ozi Vezimradia Vayehi. Feeling that I am part of something greater than myself, says Susan. Lishua. All this is very easy to do on Shabbat, but to be aware when we are paying attention. Much more difficult is to do it when we feel the urge to be. Mucho más difícil hacerlo cuando sentimos esa chispita de deseo de engancharnos. And that's what we're practicing now. Paying attention to that. And that moment when we are able to stop us from the seduction of not engaging with gossip and negativity and allowing ourselves to be called to something higher, we are like tzaddikim, and we can continue with Tehillim, the Psalm 33:1. Ranenu tzaddikim b'Adonai la'lisharim navat te'ilah. Sing forth of you righteous to God. That is fit for the upright to acclaim God. We have to, Perakari. Yes, this is Psalm 33:1. So in that moment when we are able, it's not that we are tzaddikim, that we are righteous, but in that moment when we are able to get away from evil, Pero en ese preciso momento, cuando nos podemos parar de hacer el mal, somos un poquito tzadikim. We're a little bit of like righteous people. And that's the heroic us, to stop it in the moment. Ranenu tzadikim Madonai, Madonai, la yesharim nava teila, teila, ranenu tzadikim Madonai, Madonai, la yesharim nava teila, teila, ranenu tzadikot Madonai, Madonai, la yesharot nava, nava teila, ranenu tzadikim Madonai, Madonai, la yesharot nava teila, teila, yairaira, 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 yairaira. Shabbos, Shabbat Shalom. How are you doing? Are we well with each other? Are we holding spiritual hands? I hope we are connected to the magic of quantum physics and the soul and the mystery. You know, quantum physics and Jewish mysticism are so connected, meaning we're all connected. So we can create a sense of community. Gracias, Stephanie. ¿Estamos conectados? Do we feel the connection? Do we feel the connection? Nos sentimos conectados. Estar juntos compartiendo un momento de espiritualidad y de Torah y de Shabbat. Connected being, feeling a moment of Torah, of meaning, of Shabbat, of prayer. It's good. Con tutti. That's great. So nice. So let's say the prayer to study Torah in the Torah moment. A prayer for un rezo por la capacidad de estudiar Torah. To go into deep wisdom of the Jewish people, el pueblo judío, que es la Torah. So to go a little bit deeper, para irnos un poquito más adentro. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, אשר קידשנו במצוותיו וציוונו לעסוק בדברי תורה. Blessed are you, O God, sovereign of the universe, who has commanded us with the priesthood to engage with Torah. Let's engage with Torah. Por la posibilidad de estar, de engancharnos, de conectarnos. Engage is not engancharnos in Spanish. Es conectarnos con Torah. So, comprometernos con Torah, Karina says. Thank you. Thank you for all my Spanish speaker helpers. Gracias a los que me ayudan en castellano. It's kind of sometimes complex to do it in 3 languages at the same time. And sometimes I realize I say one thing in Spanish and one thing in English. It's funny. But I'm sure you forgive me. So let's go to the Torah. Vamos a la Torah. ויקרא אל משה וידבר אדוני אליו מאוהל מועד לאמור. דבר אל בני ישראל ואמרת להם, אדם כי יקריב מכם קורבן לאדוני, מן הבהמה, מן הבקר, מן הצאן, תקריבו את קורבנכם. And God called Moses and spoke to him from the tent of the meeting, saying, speak to the Israelite people and say to them, when any of you presents an offering of cattle to the Adonai, she shall choose her offering from the herd or from the flock. So in theory, in principle, this was about the animal sacrifice that was brought to the temple. Esto tiene que ver con los sacrificios de animales que se traían al templo. We don't do animal sacrifices anymore. That's against our ethics in this moment. No hacemos sacrificios de animales. This is part of the biblical story of the Jewish people and humanity. So let's get out of that one and enter into the depth of this. Salgamos un poco del tema del sacrificio de animal. It's not about that. What about if we replace the word sacrifice by the true meaning, which is offering? ¿Qué pasa si cambiamos el sentido de la palabra sacrificio por la palabra ofrenda? Because korban comes from the word karov, porque la palabra korban viene de la palabra karov, that means bringing near. So a korban is an offering to bring me closer to. Un korban, una ofrenda, es algo que doy para traerme más cerca ¿a qué? La divinidad. Something that is in the material world that I use to elevate to the spiritual realm. Algo del mundo material que me eleva al mundo espiritual. So first idea I want to bring to us is what we just said. The idea is being called upon. Lo primero es el concepto de ser llamados. Wow. What about if we all have the capacity to be called by name? ¿Qué pasa si todos nosotros tenemos la capacidad de awareness and the openness to be called? La capacidad, la sensibilidad de ser llamados. Número uno. Then, something that we discussed in my workshop the other day, Ohel Moed, the tent of the meeting. Is there a better place for us when we are called upon? ¿Hay algún lugar y un momento cuando tenemos más la posibilidad de ser llamados, de escuchar un llamado? I'm sure it is not walking the street with our phones and texting. Seguramente no es cuando estamos ocupados escuchando. Meaning that the capacity to be called requires a place and a time. Que la capacidad de poder ser llamados requiere la atención de un lugar y de un tiempo. Requires the dedication to find a place and a time. Requiere la preparación de tener un lugar y un momento. The Ohel Moed, the tabernacle, was something that has so much dedication. If we're going to meet God, it has to be a special place and a special moment. Si nos vamos a encontrar con la divinidad, tiene que ser un lugar especial. Where is our place? Where is our moment? ¿Cuál es nuestro lugar? What do we do to elevate ourselves? Maybe it's just a moment and a place in our home that we dedicate to contemplation, to feel, to be present. Maybe it's a place in nature. I don't know. But here says it requires a place. It requires dedication. The possibility to be called. And all this is just the first line of the Parsha. Esto es solamente la primer línea, el primer renglón de la Parashá. And then speak to the Israelite people and say to them, when any of you presents an offering, she shall choose her offering from the herd of the flock. Cuando presentas una ofrenda, tiene que ser de algo sensible y concreto. Again, let's forget the animal in this moment, sacrifice, because we are not doing this. But yes, the capacity to offer something. And now we're getting into something even deeper. A lot of the sacrifices brought to the temple, muchos de los sacrificios traídos al templo, had to do with regret, guilt, and shame. How do we expiate our guilt and our shame? What do we do with our shame? ¿Cómo expiamos por aquello que hicimos y que nos sentimos culpables? Do you understand when people brought sacrifice? Each sacrifice was a specific sacrifice for something. So by the type of sacrifice that you brought, you're broadcasting to everybody what type of thing you committed. Because if you brought this sacrifice, meant that you did this. Quiere decir que trayendo un tipo de sacrificio, estábamos anunciando lo que hicimos. So the concept here, the deeper meaning is how do we deal with regret? How do we deal with charata, with regret, with guilt, with shame? What's the role of public confession into this? What's the role of confession in this? How do we express dissolution in ourselves? How do we embrace each other in the brokenness, in the mistakes? How we correct each other. cómo nos corregimos mutuamente. There's a big difference between sacrifice and offering. These are not sacrifices, are offerings. Meaning, I have to offer something when I made a mistake. Tenemos que ofrendar algo cuando cometimos un error. And Vaikra, the word Vaikra, at the end is written with Aleph, but very small. La palabra Vaikra está escrita con una Aleph, pero muy chiquitita. And that has to do with Moses' humility. Tiene que ver con la humildad de Moshe. And I want to add with the humility to accept our mistakes and to look at our regrets. Wow. You understand that if we connect only with Vaikra as humans, as animal sacrifice, and we get into that story, we cannot get out of there. But if we go to the deeper meaning, we don't do animal sacrifices anymore. Let's stop with the destruction of the temple. But what about how do we deal with regret, with shame, with guilt, with confession? These are the themes. And how do we deal with our humility or arrogance? In our mystical tradition, in the Lurianic Kabbalah, there is a beautiful text I'm going to read. Maybe Karina will put it there. It's a text from Rabbi Yitzhak Luria, from the Lurianic Kabbalah. The Korban, which was the vehicle of the elevation of the world to God, had to include representatives of all four sectors of creation: the inanimate world, the vegetable world, the animal world, and the human world. Thus, the Korban was offered by human beings and consisted with an animal grain and salt. Is our own animal grain that we're offering. The humility to be in touch with that. And offering. So if we see the book of Vaikra as a human attempt to deal with our animal instincts and humanity and the brokenness and the reality, which is human, not bad or wrong, it's human, complex. It's a complete different story. And that's why the children begin to study the Torah through the book of Vaikra, because it's about purity, and they're pure. It's to connect with the child inside. To connect with the human possibility of innocence, of humility, and to elevate the offering. And that's a completely different ballgame. A completely different ballgame. Amen. So I leave you with these thoughts about the first parsha, the first section of the Torah, of the book of Vaikra, of the book of Leviticus. L'chaim. How's everybody? ¿Cómo están? So I invite you to pray for healing. Los invito a rezar por la salud, la sanación. You feel you can. You bring the names of your loved ones. You have a healing moment. Karina, will you bring your voice for the healing moment? For the Elna Refan Allah. I'm going also to remove myself from the screen. So we have the projection of all the names of our loved ones. And the names and so have the names of your loved ones. Karina and I are behind you, supporting your prayer. Bring the names. Connect yourself to the healing energy. I'm going to lower my pillow that I have here so you have a better view of the garden. So please share the names and let's pray for healing. Think about all the women that you're praying for, the final law of the men that you're praying for, the finally all of us that you're praying for. From healing, we go to memory. I invite you to, those of you who have to say Kaddish, to stand up, to please rise if you're able to do so. And the rest of us to connect with the memory of our loved ones, and to respond from that place. Memory is so important. Memory for our relatives, memory for our loved ones. And when we connect with the place of memory, those who are saying Kaddish feel deeply accompanied, because we are responding from the same place that we are praying. They are praying. I'm saying the Kaddish with those of you who have to say Kaddish. Yitgadal v'yitgadash Shem Rabba. Ve'alma tivrach chiluteh ve'amlich malchuteh. V'chayechon u'vyamechon v'chaye dechol bet Yisrael. V'galav v'zman kariv v'meru. Amen. Yeheh Shlam Arava Mishmaya. Shmer Rava v'borach l'olam yomei yomai. יתברך וישתבח ויתפואר ויתרומם ויתנשא. ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקודשא בריחו. נעלה מכל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה. נמירם בעלמה ויאמרו אמן. יהיה שלום הרב המשמיה וחיים עלינו על כל ישראל ויאמרו אמן. עושה שלום וברומיו ויעשה שלום עלינו, על כל ישראל, על כל יושבי תבל, ויאמרו אמן. Shabbat Shalom to everybody. So good to see you, to go to see each other. So good to see you, to see each other. Beautiful. Yes, we create together this virtual community. Virtual community. So I want to extend again the invitation to the connecting through Torah. Basically, we go deep into a personal life of the meaning, some of the meaning of the parsha, of the section. This coming Thursday, we're going to be working just in one pasuk, one phrase from the Haggadah of Pesach. Just one. That is at the center of everything. So Thursday at 7 Eastern Time, everybody's invited. It's for payment, that's my work, so I thank you for collaborating with me, with my free offerings. And that's the intersection. I live in the intersection between psychology, Jewish wisdom, and mindfulness. So there are moments of meditation, moments of prayer, moments of wisdom, moments of conversation with each other, which is beautiful. So everybody's invited. Whatever you can offer, you offer. That's a way of support. Will be welcomed. And then we're going to see each other in Shabbat again. Shabbat HaGadol, before Pesach. So let's conclude this Shabbat Vayikra in this cyber community where we are with each other. Terminemos este Shabbat con esta comunidad a través del waves where there is interconnection with the Nigun. Ya illara la illara la ila, ya illara la illara la ila, ya illara la illara la ila, ya ira ira ya ira, ya ira ira ira, ya ira ira ira, ya ira ira ira, ya ira ira ira, Yai rai 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 rai. Yai rai 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 rai. Yai rai 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 rai. Yai yai rai rai yai yai. Yai rai 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 rai. Yai rai 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 yai rai. Yai rai 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 rai. Yai yai rai yai yai. Yai rai 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 yai. Yai yada da yada da da da. Yai yada da yada da da. Yai yada da yai yai. Yai yada da yada da da. Yai yada da yada da da da. Yai yada da yada da da. Yai da 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 yai yai. Yai yai Shabbat Shalom. Yai yai Shabbat Shalom. Yai rai rai Shabbat Shalom. Yai 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 rai yai yai. Yai 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 Shabbat Shalom. Yai 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 Shabbat Shalom. Yai rai rai Shabbat Shalom. Yai 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 rai yai yai. Yai yai rai yai rai rai. Yai yai rai yai rai rai rai. Yai yai rai yai rai rai. Hi da 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 da. Ya ya da da ya da da da. Ya ya da da ya da 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 da. Ya ya da da ya da da da. Hi ya ya da da ya ya. Ya da da Shabbat Shalom. Ya da da Shabbat Shalom. Ya da da Shabbat Shalom. Ya ya Shabbat Shalom. Yai rai rai Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Yai 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 yai. Yai yara rai yara rai rai. Hai yara rai yara rai rai rai. Hai yara rai yara rai rai. Yai rai 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 rai. Yai yara rai yara rai rai. Yai yara rai yara rai rai rai. Yai yara la 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 la. Yai yai yara rai yai rai. Yai rai rai Shabbat Shalom. Yai rai rai Shabbat Shalom. Yai rai rai Shabbat Shalom. Yai yai yara rai yai yai. Yai 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 Shabbat Shalom. Yai 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 Shabbat Shalom. Yai 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 Shabbat Shalom. Yai yai yada da yai yai. Yai yada da yada da da. Yai yada da Shabbat Shalom. Yai yada da yada da da. Hai Shabbat Shalom. Yai yada da yada da da. Yai yada da Shabbat Shalom. Yai yada da yada da da. Hai Shabbat Shalom. Hai ai Shabbat Shalom. Hai ai Shabbat Shalom. Hai ai Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Hai ai Shabbat Shalom. Hai ai Shabbat Shalom. Hai ai Shabbat Shalom. Hai ai ai. Ay, 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 Shabbat Shalom. Ay, 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 Shabbat Shalom. Ay, 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 Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom.